Um, that's funny right here. Look at this word, hickles. And I was just thinking that our tribe is kind of like redneck hillbilly Indians of the Indians. Uh, kind of like people who live kind of out of the kind of backwoods, basically. Anyway, look, it is true that modern Americans, like the Anishinaabe, established their identity of their children by reference to the father's family, but the similarity between the two kinship systems ends. Strictly speaking, the American kinship system is bilateral. We trace our descendants from both mothers and fathers and do not feel more closely related to one or another. The Anishinaabe system of descent recognition was lineal. A person belonged to the lineage and clan of the father. It was through this line alone that descendant was traced and from which rights and obligations of the children were derived. This did not mean that the Anishinaabe lacked identity with their mother's family. In fact, the connection was important, but those people were not part of one's family. The brothers and sisters of a family shared with the fathers the rituals and duties of clanhood, and they knew its songs and signs. And with the death of their father, they would inherit his property. The mother's interests were in the clan of her birth, her family of blood. In the case of the northern Anishinaabe, the term nos is used to refer to males of older generation by on or nas is used to refer to males of older generation of my own descent group. This term may be just translated as my father. Similarly, the word of my mother is, look at this word, ninga. It looks like ninja. So what does this have to do with ninjas? It's really funny, but there's this movie called Ninja Assassin, right? And this lady, this detective of some government agency was basically found out that ninjas did it, and when she reported this to her superiors, they gave her a vacation and made her take a psych eval, and she got put on she got suspended for mentioning it, and basically she got scoffed at and everything. But then later in the movie, her contact of some higher up agency or some other agency she was working with, this guy's like, every agency is here, Interpol and ATF and the FBI and NSA and the CIA and MI6 and Mossad are all trying to basically fight over who gets to steal the computer with all the information on it. And basically the dude, at first it was like a big joke, and then all of a sudden they went really serious all of a sudden. Because look, because of Hollywood, it's like the ninja has been so kind of like mystified, and like, look, that they're almost like a Bigfoot. And if there was an actual real ninja operative who was like working in criminality, like, look, it's like, I think that is actually legit. Like, there's some kind of like they want to catch one like a Bigfoot, like, and there's an Illuminati card dex card, and it's called Ninja, and it's got a couple ninjas on there, kind of in black masks. So ninja mask. One's got a gun, and the other one's got a Chinese star, and it says, "Employ ninjas for sabotage." But anyway, I think that's pretty funny. But come to find out, it's like, look, back in the day when I first started kind of getting into kung fu, it was like I noticed a similar kind of a thing where at first they scoff you and they laugh about it, but then one day it kind of clicks to these people, and all of a sudden now they come back with the fury on you, like, look, of scrutiny, because it's like, I don't know, man, cognitive dissonance, man. It's just like people just like, the word ninja doesn't necessarily mean what Hollywood says it is. It's just basically person who can get something done and keep it to themselves. It is an adequate description of in some cases, but you could actually go into some lineage type uh, ninja cults, probably. I'd imagine so. There's little. They give you little tidbits of stuff these days, but they downplay it. You ask anybody about anything kung fu-y, and if it's going back to the actual people who originated it, they're not going to talk about it openly. They're going to give you like a public, sanitized kind of like explanation. Oh, we just do this because it's traditional. Like, look, they'll be saying stuff like, look, that's part of the ninja technique of psychology. It's just understanding how people's minds work, and it's kind of a tool you can utilize. You got this visualization kind of thing going on. But anyway, I was doing some Tai Chi out in my backyard, and one of my neighbors, out of some hater reason, called the police on me and said some strange man's out in the backyard. And so, they came, rolled up on me, and I remember, man, it was crazy. I had it was like they were searching me, and there's just more and more weapons kept coming out of my pockets, and like everything basically was almost a weapon on me. And then they ended up just taking all my stuff and handing it to the people I was with, and then they took me to jail because I had a old warrant. And then they were also, gaslighting me, and the cops were making, like, I need to get a bag to eat. They were saying stuff like this. Man, I'm really hungry. You got the munchies? He says to his partner. Like they were really, it was really, it was gay Paris. It was a free trip straight to gay Paris. And, you know, anyway, I remember the lady saying though, like, look, when she pulled out these Chinese stars I had, these ones I made, from some scrap metal from work. And I heard her say to her partner, she goes, I bet he practices. And she goes, like, a pause, and then she goes, a lot. And look, and they didn't mention it again. Then they just disarmed me and got me in the cuffs, and then here comes the jokes. You know what I'm saying? But, I guess it could be worse. I could be dead right now, and they could have shot me. Basically, they would have spun it and probably got away with it. So I'm a lucky man. But my buddy, something similar just happened to him, where he got served a little warrant action by like every agency, and like a joint task force agency thing, like some big 3-letter boys, some alphabet, some EIEIOs, and they, on the warrant, one of the things that they were looking for homemade ninja weapons. So it's like, and once again, like, I remember in the beginning, man, they used to laugh at us and just like, look, it's kind of like on that movie of where the pirate, Johnny Depp's the pirate, and they keep saying, you're the worst pirate I've ever heard of. And he's like, well, but you've heard of me. It's kind of like one of those type of things, it's like, in a way, and that's part of the psychology of it, is to make your enemies, I guess, obsess about you. And look, and I guess it can work against you too, because they really might start to obsess and look and kind of like play into it way too heavy, and come locked and loaded for bear. And it's not even like that. But I watched a movie, man, called Cult of Vudes. Wait, what was it called? Multivudes, Cults of Abuse. And it said that there's kind of like this part of the New World Order agenda, and like, look, global depopulation. They frown heavily and kind of persecute Tai Chi and martial arts, and especially the healing martial arts. And there's some elements of that kind of in the ninja kind of the ninja catalog, let's put it that way. There's a little bit of that in there, and definitely they don't like the self-defense. And it also, man, it's like, if you really do the real internals of kung fu, you got to kind of also examine your mind and your heart, your emotions. You kind of like, there's deeper levels of it where you kind of get reacquainted. You got to look at yourself with your new eyes and like, look, and it's not what you thought it was. So you kind of got to go back and figure out what the dealio is. And this, and in some cases, this is a good, it's a good place to manifest your anger. And then you can catch yourself like mad. And then you're like, wait a second, why am I angry? And why is it coming out while I'm, practicing my kung fu, right? So, and also, it's like, my practice of kung fu doesn't make me more antsy to fight. In all actuality, it makes me calm where I'm not trying to prove anything. Like, look, I'm confident enough to say no and walk away and not play. Before, where I was kind of got a kick out of that, out of that when I first started exploring with the mind powers of kind of, you let the other person's imagination do all the work. And you don't want to go as far as to be, it's like you're not really doing that much. They're doing it. It's just you're not stopping them. And but like I said, that then you might trigger this person to go and do adrenaline fight or flight, and they'll have a grudge for whatever reason, and they just might be out to get you after that, because there will be like because if you're sensitive enough, you'll know when someone's playing mind games with you, and some people might enjoy it, and then they might start to play along as if they don't know. But other people might catch it, and then they'll start to assume that you're an enemy. And look, and then they'll be setting up an ambush on you because they're so afraid of your homemade ninja weapons that they gotta bring tanks and drones and frickin' armor head to toe, jack booted, uh, like guys all revved up, nowhere to go type situation. I wouldn't want to be there when that happened. You know what I mean? But it's kind of weird. Look, there's small synchronicities, but sometimes in Hollywood, in movies, they do leak out real, like they sneak in something like really legit. Like kind of like in Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson says the Phoenix program. And in those days, there was no Google. You would have to go to like Library of Congress or something to know what that is. But now, all you got to do is type that in, and look, it's Ninja Assassin all over again. It's like everything's freaking connected. It's so spooky. But anyway, yeah, I thought that was odd though that the word for mother is ninga, which is it's this G and J are very similar. So it's like it's kind of goofy. You know what I'm saying? That the ninja, you get such a kick out of this ninja thing. But then I go and look at even my own history here, and then it kind of pops up again. Like, look, in a weird way. It's not. It's just it's just they're close, but it's just they're probably aren't really that connected, but to me they are. You know what I mean? At this moment in time, and they gave me that thought, that recollection about this whole ninja situation, where it's just like it's hype. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know if there's a real deal like active ninjas in the world like Hollywood, but there's all kinds of them. A Navy SEAL is somewhat of a ninja. This guy right here, I bet you he's got knows some ninja tricks. It's like it's just kind of like it's not. It's kind of a common and a vague term. It's not really like a handyman. You know what I mean? Uh, it's vague, but it could entail a lot in there. You could package a lot in there and hide it within that vagueness and be very specific. But look, and there's the beauty of it. You know what I'm saying? And hence, that's why you need someone who can get stuff done for you and keep it to themselves. And look, you don't need to know all the details about, as long as you can make it happen, and not kick up no dust. I think that's pretty much certified for the vague and broad description. But I do feel though that they are looking for like the Bigfoot ninja, the Hollywood uh, video game ninja in real life.